Institutions Innovation Council of Bhavans Vivekananda College. The guest speakers, Mrs. Aarti Balu, Senior Executive, Startup Programs, T-Hub, Mr. Bamidi Krupanand, Co-founder and Chief Operating Officer of Flintor, Mrs. Ashwini, Dr. Kavita Lal, all the faculty members of ICC of the college and student members. I welcome you all for the Impact Lecture session organized by Bhavans Institution Innovation Council for the academic year 2021-22. I first of all congratulate and appreciate the efforts made by Mrs. Ashwini for taking this initiative, and I feel proud to be one of those selected institutions for organizing such impact lecture sessions. And I also appreciate the student members who are part of this institution's Innovation Council. And I wish all of you all the very best, and hope that this kind of sessions will help the students to identify what they are seeking for, to also have an exposure with resource persons, their first-hand experience, so that they can fulfill the nation's requirement of this entrepreneur development thing. So I wish that this program will provide good opportunities for students to interact with the resource persons. I wish you all the very best. I thank the resource persons for accepting our invitation and being here to address our students and enlighten them. I wish everyone all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Maniremati ma'am, for your best wishes. Now I request Professor Y. Ashok, Principal, Bhavans Vivekananda College, to address the participants.
So, thank you, Ashwini madam. Good afternoon, everyone. Mrs. B. Neremati, President of Bhavans Institution Innovation Council, Dr. Chakravarti, Vice President of Institution and of the Bhavans Institution Innovation Council, and we are privileged to have speakers Srimati Aarti Balu and Mr. Krupanand. And especially Aarti Balu madam, since she comes from T-Hub, definitely her rich experience, and I saw the profile. She is senior executive in startup at T-Hub. So maybe her presence and her lecture will definitely give a lot of inputs for all the students who are interested in startups. So every week in Times of India and also on Sunday in Inadu, they give a lot of success stories on startups. Last week I saw somebody started a cloth bank. We may have a lot of clothes which may be in good condition, but which we may not use. So some entrepreneur started a cloth bank. His idea was he saw a lot of people suffering. Though it's not a commercial proposition, it was to help the society. So he saw a lot of people suffering, and at the same time, a lot of people having bundles of clothes maybe kept in the almirahs, which are not used except in rare occasions. So like that, of course, in case of innovation, commercial viability also is very important. Dear students, right now the country is progressing so well that it throws a lot of opportunities to youngsters who have very innovative ideas. And Aarti madam will better appreciate and also guide all of you on how to think about innovations. You may all have a lot of ideas, But what is most important is sustainability of the idea and whether the idea is really feasible for implementation. You have to judge it very, very carefully, because initially you have meager resources, and every resource that you have to spend very, very judiciously. It makes a lot of difference. So the innovations definitely will lay a foundation for growth of any country. Recently, I also saw USA, Sweden, etc. are topping in innovations. Though we are picking up, we are still behind China. But of course, what we were about 5-10 years ago and what we are now is remarkably different. Lot of budding entrepreneurs who are graduating from educational institutions are thinking of novel ideas which can be converted into a business proposal. So I am sure this session conducted by Bhavan's Institutional Innovation Council along with IPR cell led by Srimati Kavita Lal and our Entrepreneurship Development Cell coordinator Mr. Thirumal Rao and Mrs. Ashwini, who is the coordinator of this program. And once I gave charge to Ashwini madam about 6 months, 1 year ago, and she has been so passionately running around to see that the Institution Innovation Council fulfills all the objectives. Ashwini madam, all the very best. And I thank Aarti madam to guide our students. I am sure your presence will definitely give a lot of inputs to the students, madam. And Krupanand, the budding startup from Krupanand, his experience as a young entrepreneur will also, maybe it will throw light on the difficulties or difficulties that the budding entrepreneur has to face to launch a business proposal. So I'm sure the students will benefit immensely from this session. And as Aarti madam told, Ashwini madam, we keep having some impact lectures as regularly as possible, because as idea should be sustainable and nurturing also should be sustainable. So I'm sure you will definitely go ahead with it. I wish everyone a wonderful afternoon with the 2 lectures coming from Aarti madam and Krupana. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. We could only achieve this with your guidance and support. And thank you for encouraging us in all our endeavors, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you once again.
Sir, sorry to
yes.
interrupt before you
Yes,
leave maybe the session. Thank you so much for the wonderful words. I also guide a couple of startups to set up their incubators. And I think in my entire career, it's the first time I'm seeing principal of a college talking in the ecosystem lines, the sustainability angle. It's very difficult for me to help them understand, but you're already thinking in that thought leadership, which is much appreciated. Thank you so much, actually.
Thank you, Aarti madam.
Thank you.
Because I keep regularly following startup successes and failures. Regularly in Times of India, the one day in a week, they give about startup success stories. And in Inadu, regularly I read them. So they are really interesting.
Beautiful. You should come down to T Hub once. I will show you startups in person.
Definitely.
Thank you.
So Aarti ma'am and all the speakers, we will just have one group photo once before starting the session. So I request all the members to enable the video. Krupanand sir, you can also go ahead and please enable your video so that we can just have a group photo once. Thank you. Chakravarti sir. Chakravarti sir, could you please enable your video, sir?
Maybe
Kavita,
he's having his lunch or something.
Might be, sir. Okay. Kavita
Yeah.
ma'am, could you please take the photograph, please? Chakravarti sir is in, sir.
Yeah.
Chakravarti sir, could you please enable your video, sir, so that we can take a photograph?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, all of you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We will be starting the session in a minute. We welcome our speaker of session 1 today, Ms. Aarti Balu, Senior Executive Startup Programs, T-Hub. Aarti is a startup ecosystem enthusiast. She is an avid researcher in the business incubator ecosystem space. Her recent study on challenges faced by business incubators in Hyderabad has been admired and appreciated by key ecosystem enablers of Hyderabad. She is currently working as a senior executive startup programs at India's largest ecosystem enabler, T-Hub. She handles the community program of T-Hub and deals with 180 plus startups and 400 plus entrepreneurs on a daily basis. She strives her best to promote empathy in the ecosystem. In this pursuit, she has built and recently launched alumni program of T-Hub. Aarti is an alumnus of St. Francis College for Women and the brainchild behind setting up Eureka SFC Academic Incubator. Also, she is an ardent writer and a reader. Ma'am, we are very happy to have you today on this particular session. So I request you to please go ahead and interact with our students. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Ashwini ji, and all the delegates who have just spoken. Hi, everyone. I'm not going to make this session like, general a PPT or a Word document. Let's make it more interesting and let's make it more conversation, because though I come from a startup ecosystem, I would love having very fruitful conversation rather like a typical workshops. Okay. First of all, I have 2 serious questions for you guys. First serious question. How many of you are here for the sake of attendance? Did your lecturer say that you got to attend this and you get the attendance?
Aarti ma'am, actually they cannot unmute themselves. Yeah, they can raise their hands.
Chat box. Yeah, you can put it in the chat box, or you can use your raise hand button, and let's have a conversation here. Okay. And second question is, how many of you like entrepreneurship, or how many of you just like this startup space? Just type a yes in the chat box. I see Varsha, I see Abhinav, I see Rajesh, I see a lot of other roll numbers. I'm sorry. Yeah, I see Kirti, I see Abdul, I see Shreyal. Nice. There are a lot of folks that are looking in terms of entrepreneurship. Ashwini ma'am, can we give them an option of switching on their videos by any chance in a bulk manner?
In a bulk, ma'am, if anyone wants to talk, I can give them the option of being a presenter. They can switch on their audio and video.
Okay, cool. But we can't give them at a go.
We have to change the settings to everyone again.
No. Because generally when I take sessions, I make sure that everybody is like visible, because it's just like we talking to screens, but it's good to have all the screens visible. Never mind. Okay, I will tell you a short story before we get into something called Idea Canvas. Okay. Now the story goes like this. In the 1.5 years back, I generally am pretty active in student entrepreneurship space as well. So in that lines, I was hosting a similar Idea Canvas session for students across 4 different colleges. Okay, they came to T-Hub, and one of my colleague addressed them, and everything happened. They were in our T-Hub events room, and everybody were addressing. Now next is my chance to address the students. Okay, And one thing I realized, even when my colleagues were addressing that college students were like scattered, they're taking it super light, they're putting some comments in the audience, and they were like super light, they're super chill, not even concentrating on the session. Then I entered the session, I started talking, and I faced this similar attitude. These guys were all from BTech background and different engineering colleges. Then guess what I did? I took all of them. I asked them to get up from their seats, and I asked them to follow me. And I took them to a place called atrium in the building. So what is an atrium? Atrium are like steps we have in middle of the building, where everybody in the building can see whomsoever is sitting on that steps. Okay, so I asked them to come follow me and made them sit in that entire steps. Okay, now I asked them one question. I told them, answer this question and this session is done. I asked these fellows, what makes an entrepreneur different from a businessman? Then everybody started giving, different questions, like it's creativity, it's getting things done, etc., etc., etc. Then one common answer that came across is taking, advantage of the right opportunities. Then I asked them back, right? Okay, if do you all agree that taking advantage of the right opportunities at the right time, at the right moment, makes you a entrepreneur, right? Then everybody said yes. Then I asked them one question back. Here at T-Hub, in the atrium, the place where you're sitting, is the same place where Satya Nadella gave a speech, is the same place where Ratan Tata gave a speech, is the same place where KTR has given a speech in terms of how to increase entrepreneurship, how to build entrepreneurs in the Telangana state. And here I am Aarti. I have generally, if some startup wants to talk to me, they got to take appointment. There's a process. Then I'll give them a couple of minutes of time. Same applies to all my colleagues, right? That T-Hub person is talking to you in person and helping you understand of the business, right? This is the opportunity in front of you. You are sitting in this building. Tell me who is taking the right advantage of this opportunity. And guess what? All the guys who were like misfits and commenting and all of that, they all went like drop dead. They went become serious and they're like, yeah, ma'am, tell me what is it, right? So now I'll ask you the same question. Now you're here, your Bhavan's college is trust me, first of all, the education what you're getting compared to other players in the market is different and it's best, right? Your lecturers, this effort that they're putting to give you this kind of education is different. And they're bringing in industry players, guys. Trust me, industry guys have been there, done that, coming back and talking to you about how industry works. Imagine the type of opportunity that your college is providing. Now you tell me, being at this college and seeing a lot of opportunities like this, how many of you are actually giving a serious shot to take this opportunity, right? So this was like a lot more video and audio where we can unmute ourselves and talk, but I'm assuming you are deeply thinking somewhere, right? So think about it. Think about the opportunity which is right in front of you and see how you can leverage on it. Not necessarily everybody here will become Elon Musk or that next Jeff Bezos, but you will be happy taking that opportunities and working towards it if you really want that to do, right, from your heart. So that's, if anybody asks me a career advice, or I've also been, I came from that college background itself. I used to host events like this. I used to run around fest. Then the startup ecosystem happened to me and all of that. But one thing that if you ask me that helped me to reach and be in a position to talk instead of being the audience is me taking the right opportunities at the right time and working towards it and giving all in, right? So that's about entrepreneurship. That's about making a step towards changing whatever reality that you're facing. How many of you agree with me, or how many of you have any comments here? Do put it in the chat box. I would love to hear from you guys actually. If someone wants to talk or add, do raise a hand such that Ashwini ma'am can give you the access to talk. And if you have any queries, you can like stop me somewhere and ask the questions as well. You can put your comments in the chat box. Okay, I say Shreyal, agreed. Yo. Okay, so moving on to our the main part of our session, which is about idea canvas. Anybody know what is generally idea canvases typically? Can you like guess what according to you is an idea canvas? You can put it in the chat box as well. Idea canvas, it's called idea canvas. Wild guess, you can like just put it in the chat box, or if you want to talk about, raise your hand as well. Anybody? Guys, come on. I thought Bhavan's people are more enthusiastic and like lively. Brainstorming and bringing details into an idea, okay? Expressing their ideas for any startups for something creative. Abhinav. Pranav says where people put forward their ideas and seek help of advice as to implement it. Brainstorming. Krishna Prasad. Yeah, all of you guys are actually getting the right agenda behind it. Any more thoughts, guys? Cool. Let's just start off, right? So I'll quickly present you what is an idea canvas. Okay, where ideas have been discussed to make them into reality. Yeah, true. Srinidhi. So just give me a moment. I will present something to you. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Yeah. 1 minute. So if you see here, we have 4 different blocks. One is like the core problem, value proposition, target customer, solution, your revenue model, and your competition. So there is some in the startup ecosystem. There's something very notable called business model canvas. So any startup, when they're starting or when they're trying to like revisit their business ideas, they try using this mechanism called business model canvas. Right now. A mini version of business model canvas is nothing but the idea canvas, okay, which is what I'm trying to present to you guys and see how you can put your ideas into one single platform and see whether that is working for you or not working for you. Okay, just give me a moment. Can you guys hear me now? Can someone confirm?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. So if you see, there is something called core problem. So first thing, guys, before addressing this core problem, I insist you to do one, list or whatever areas that move you, you write them down. Like example for me, mental health is something very integral, space. Some startup is working in mental health, and pretty much I would love to mentor them without any given and ask, right? Same other next area that I really like is interior designing. So like that you jot down what are the, either you can do it in two ways. First, think what are the pain points you are facing and you will write them down, your personally and at a larger community. Or secondly, which are the areas that you are generally interested to explore. Now from this listing, you figure out one core problem that you think which is worth solving, which is worth your time, energy, money, and your career, right? Jot down on this one, not necessarily I will stick this one, but pick one problem statement at a time and then put it into idea canvas. Okay, now pick that problem that you're trying to solve and put it here, core problem. Like let's take an example of Swiggy. What is the pain point that Swiggy is solving? Can someone put it in the chat box? What's the pain point that Swiggy is solving, or what's the problem statement that Swiggy is trying to address? Anybody? Okay. If I say Swiggy is solving the pain point of customers or any individuals who want food, but they can't, they can't get out, or but they want it at their convenience. So Swiggy is solving the convenience problem for these customers. Yeah, as Krishna Prasad mentioned, reducing the time of customers to wait and order their food. Yeah, convenience, the time, time is very precious, and also when especially these corporate folks, we juggle between a lot of stuff, right? Someone, I think it's lack to reach the need of customers. Okay, working people who are unable to cook food. Exactly, they're on a bigger umbrella. These are the circumstances that different folks will face. But on a bigger umbrella, Swiggy is addressing the convenience problem of a customer. At what convenience every individual can have their food, right? Now that for that problem statement, what could be the possible solution? Once you understand the problem statement, core problem that you're trying to fix, think about what is the solution you can give. Now, whether you can build an app, whether you can build a restaurant, whether you can, that is, we can build an app, right? Now, can you do something different? Of course. So, for this particular problem statement, what is the solution you're trying to give? I'll take another example for you guys. If I'm going a little fast, do stop me or give me a heads up that I can address your queries. So, there is, if you see in temples or when we do pujas at home, there are a lot of flowers that go waste after the puja, right? We just use it for an occasion, after that it goes waste. Same happens with weddings, or same happens with, at different temples. Now that's the floral waste that we're seeing in the ecosystem. Can we do something about it? Can we do something to address this problem statement? Exactly, one of my startup founder, which is called Holy Waste, what they do is, to solve this floral waste as a problem statement, they collect this floral waste from temples, marriages, and functions, and make incense sticks and make scented candles and make, different items that we can reuse. So basically, they take this floral waste and make something best out of it. Okay, now this, for this particular problem of floral, perfumes, right? For this particular problem statement, this is what the solution that one of the startup is taking up. I'm putting an example. So I'll give you a lot more examples in the canvas such that you can understand and connect the dots. Okay. Now, next, if we move to the idea canvas, there's something called value proposition. Okay. Guys, this is very, very important. Trust me, value proposition is the heart of the business model canvas, and value proposition is the heart of any canvas. Okay. Now, what exactly a value proposition is? I'll give you a very fair example. Why do someone buy an iPhone versus Samsung? Or why do someone buy Samsung versus Oppo? Why do you buy a Mac versus a desktop? Every item that is listed as its own value proposition. Like iPhone, it's related to brand, quality, and all of that. Android, Samsung, that's related to affordability, the camera, whatnot, right? That's exactly for whatever problem statement and the solution that you're giving to a problem statement. You have to understand through this solution, what is the value that I'm bringing to the customers? What is the value? Why any customer should choose us? See, you may face one problem, not necessarily everybody is facing the same problem. You have to understand the size of the problem as well in order to scale. If 10 people are facing the same problem, can you make a business out of that? Is something question. But if you say 100 people are facing, 1,000 people are facing, million people are facing, then it's a worth solving, right? While solving this 100 people, 1,000 people problem, what is the value that you are bringing to the table is very, very important. So guys, always value proposition is your key. Why someone should choose us? There is Swiggy and there is Zomato. There is a reason why you choose Swiggy. There's a reason why you choose Zomato. There's a reason why you choose Uber. There is a reason why you choose Ola. Right? Value proposition is very integral. Are you with me, guys? If you are with me, give me a clap in the chat box. Okay, I see Samita, I see Krishna Prasad, Vanshika, Sanjana, I see Shreyal, I see Abhi, I see Smriti, I see Sneha. Okay, I see Rajesh. Okay. I'll take all the claps. I see Abdul, I see Saurya, I see Karinath, I see Srinidhi. Why Srinidhi? Why only thumbs up? Can't you give me a clap? Sorry, just pulling your leg. Moving on, guys. Moving on. Thank you so much. Keep them coming, guys. Keep the claps coming. Let's build up the vibe. If we were talking in person, I would have made you do a snap or something like that too. Now, for this value proposition, for this solution that you're giving, for this problem statement you're solving, is there any competition, direct or indirect? You have to analyze that. Guys, we are in a world, trust me, our Indian startup ecosystem is building so rapidly that, there is a problem and there's already a solution. Trust me, you name it and we have it. Right? These kind of solutions are already there. But are they visible to the outer world? Maybe not, maybe yes. Are they scaling? Maybe not, maybe yes. But you got to understand what is the competition you have in order to deliver your value proposition. If you have competition, trust me, you're blessed. If you don't have competition, that's a curse. I'll tell you why. When you have a competition, you'll have a path. You'll have a book to refer. Basically, competition, so you can understand, okay, they're placed in this way, they're placed in this way. You can always have something to refer, right? Always scout for what is the competition that you have, such that you can see, okay, this is what my competition is doing. Can I do something more or can I do something less to bring value? Okay. Now, first, guys, problem. For that, there's a solution. For solution, there is a value. For this value, is there any competition? Any doubts so far, guys? Any doubts? Any doubts, do let me know. No doubts, huh? You people, no doubts. Okay, no, it's clear. Okay. Nice. I like the active guys who are in the chat box, yeah? We'll meet soon in person. Okay, now next, moving on to the the remaining two buckets, target customer and revenue model. I'll give you an example, right? my office is at Gachibowli. Okay. Because I know my office is at Gachibowli, I know how to go and I know which medium to take to go. Like I know I can decide, like morning I can decide, shall I take auto, shall I take a cab, shall I ask someone to drop, shall I take a metro, whatever it is. But all this thought process happens only when I know where I want to go, right? That is exactly the same when you are scouting for your target customers, right? If you know who are your target customers are, for whom this value can be bring, for whom you're solving this problem, for whom this solution is helpful, for whom this value proposition is very important, that's when your half of their headache is solved. And that's when, once you know these are my target audience, you can reach to them. That's when your marketing plan, your strategy comes into picture. If you're an edtech startup, you don't go and promote your startup in hospitals, right? If you're an health tech startup, you don't go and promote your startup in schools, right? You should know who you are, what value you're bringing to the table, and who are your target customers. Okay. Now, last but not the least, revenue model, right? See, I understand there's an angle called social entrepreneurship, and nobody, like nobody tells ki in social entrepreneurship you shouldn't make money. Money is everywhere. Revenue model is very important. If you make money, then only a business runs. Trust me, revenue model is an integral source for any startup to scale. Now, how do you figure out this revenue model? There are a lot of revenue models that we see in the given days. Example, like when you take an UPI payments, Google Pay, there's a transaction fee. Or when you take a Swiggy, Ola, or Uber, there's a transaction fee. Or when you're building a SaaS product, there's a subscription fee, right? Or sometimes when you're building a hardware product, like I was saying, the incense sticks or the candles, you directly pay for that particular product. There are a lot of revenue models in the current startup ecosystem that one can explore. Now, for the solution, what you're bringing, guys, and the value of what you're bringing, you have to decide in what all ways a customer can pay you. Are they first, even before that, you have to understand, is it a product that's worth paying? Are my customers are willing to pay? After that, you will decide in which ways they can pay. Like, is it through ads? Is it through subscription? Is it through, whatnot, right? So think about these angles whenever you are like searching for revenue models, right? So again, just a recap, you will understand the core problem. You will figure out a solution according to you, what could be the best solution to address this problem. Then you will give a value out of the solution to your target customers. Then with this target customers, how do you arrive a value is through analyzing the competition. And through this, you'll figure out a revenue model too. Am I clear? Any doubts, guys? Any doubts? Please put them in the chat box. If you are with me, do give me a clap. I've stopped sharing. I think you guys can see me now. Okay. There are a lot of claps that are coming up. Nice to see all of them. Yeah, fist bumps are the beauty that I'm seeing in the ecosystem. Ashwini ma'am, how much more time that I got before I wind up the session? Guys, any doubts? This is the time.
Ma'am, we have 15 minutes more.
Oh my God, that's a huge time that I have. So guys, any questions?
That includes the question and answer session, ma'am.
Yeah, got it. So now let's have a conversation. If anybody have a question, do raise your hand. Ma'am will give the access, or type it in the chat box. Meanwhile, I will talk on a couple of aspects. Guys, first of all, really first of all, you don't have to figure everything out at this age. There is no timeline. There is no timeline that you have to become an entrepreneur by this age, that you have to marry by this age, or that you have to figure out your career by this age. Trust me, there are entrepreneurs. I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs, as I said, right? There are entrepreneurs who are like 60 years old. There are entrepreneurs who are 20 to 30 years old. There are entrepreneurs who are 40 years old as well. Everybody has different timelines, guys. First, figure out what you love doing, right? And if you ask me, Aarti, how would I know what I love? I'll tell you one beautiful answer for that. See, have you ever been in love, like any of your guys, putting the business side aside? If you've ever been in love, or if you have a crush, or if you have an affection towards any human or any object, you will do anything and everything to be in contact with, that person, that object, or whatever it is. Exactly same happens with your career options. Okay, if you like something, if you like doing something, go pursue it madly. Okay, and again, I'll go back to two elements. First, you don't have to figure out your career at one particular age. There is no age limit to figure out your career. Trust me. Second, do what you love. And how do you know how do you love what you're doing? Taste different stuff. Okay. How many of you like ice cream? How many of you like ice cream? I think most of you, right? You like, right? If yes, give me a hi or a smiley in the chat box. Which flavor do you like? Can you type it in the chat box? Which flavor of ice cream do you like? Yes. Which flavor of ice cream? I love chocolate. I love Ferrero Rocher mixed with chocolate a lot. Chocolate, yeah, a lot of people for chocolate. Yeah, we need to have ice cream party soon, and Bhavans is going to sponsor that. Butterscotch, yeah, nice, nice. I'll ask you a next question, right? How do you know that chocolate or vanilla or butterscotch is a flavor that you like? How do you know? Blackcurrant. How do you know? Because you tasted it. Not only you tasted chocolate, but you tasted vanilla, but you tasted butterscotch. On top of after tasting all of this, you like chocolate, or you like butterscotch, or you like vanilla. Exactly the same when it comes to career, guys. Trust me. If you like a career, or if you like painting, just give a shot. Try it out. And if you like doing even more, do aggressively. If you like poetry, do poetry, right? Give a shot. While writing it, you will only understand whether you're really satisfied while doing that. If you like incubators, if you like startups, do give a shot. Taste that incubators. Taste failing a startup. Taste successing a startup. Then switch to something else. Like that, you will understand what are the career options that you like doing, you love doing, then go pursue it madly. Same happened with me. Like, I never wanted to join a corporate. During my college, I had 4 corporate offers in hand. I had an and I was doing a research on business incubators, as I said, right? And I had 4 incubator offers. My packages were very high in corporate, but my heart was into incubators. And I've chosen a job. Trust me, every day even though there's a lot of stress, the package is less, even though there are a lot of like things that go on, I was happy, dude. I was happy, right? Exactly the same with you guys. Figure out the favorite career flavor that you like by doing and trying a lot of stuff. What will happen maximum? You will fail. That is the worst can happen, right? Then you'll pick up something else, different flavor, right? Next, yes, Abhiram will talk. Just give me 5 minutes, right? Try out different career options, and I'll give you the best asset you have right now. The best asset, 2 things: your age. You are so young that for 10 years, if you just play around and come back, also nothing will change. You can still build your career from scratch. Instead of playing around, why don't you try something different and do what you like doing, right? You are very young. That is your biggest advantage. Second, you are in an age of technology. Trust me, you can do anything and everything just by sitting in front of your laptop, just by having a phone in your hand, right? Imagine fast forward 10 years, 100 years back, our parents, our grandfathers and grandmothers have faced wars, have faced epidemics, have faced slavery, have faced what not, no opportunities. But we are at the right age of the universe with very young heart, with a lot of energy to do. And if you don't channelize that, after 80 years, you turn back, Are, main kya kara zindagi mein? You will regret, guys. So, first thing, don't listen to anybody, whatever their comments are. You're not good at this, you're not, just love yourself. Second, taste different career flavors. When you're tasting, give your 100%. You just don't taste one bite and leave and conclude, okay, this is I like, this is I don't like. Taste entire ice cream, right? Give your 100%. Experiment, experiment, experiment. Play around with your age and use technology. Not to get addicted, but to, make something beautiful out of that technology. And as I said, I help a lot of colleges to to set up their incubators and develop the culture of entrepreneurship in their premises, I would love to do something with Bhavans, of course. But on top of it, if you are a serious entrepreneur, like if you respect my time and everybody's time, if you're really serious to give a shot, do reach out to me. I would love to give you the initial mentorship and all of that, right? Okay, there are a couple of questions. How can we do marketing for startups to gain great value in society and to make them trust on our idea? Okay. See, marketing in startups, trust me, startups can't afford a big shot, marketing budget just like how a corporate does. Marketing in startups is your product. You have the best product, your customers will speak. You have your best service, your customers will speak. Every startup, every product, it has its own marketing strategy. It has its own market penetrating mechanism. That is called GTM. That is called your go-to-market strategy. That defines on a lot of aspects, right? GTM. Maybe we can take one other session on GTM. That's very difficult and it needs a 1 hour proper time. I'm planning to freelance as a digital marketer. Any suggestions? Sure, send me your resume or something through Ashwini ma'am. I will put you in touch with any entrepreneur who's looking for. No suggestions are go experiment, working out, not working out, then figure out something else, right? And don't give up for other people, one thing, while tasting different flavors. Abhiram wanted to talk. Abhiram, would you be able to explain your idea quickly, or you can
Abhiram, if you want to talk, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand so that I can make you the presenter. Okay. Abhiram, you can actually unmute yourself and you can talk now.
Yeah, first of all, good afternoon, ma'am. So actually, I have two idea models in the first place. Ma'am, can you see me? Can you see me, ma'am? Yes. Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. In the first place, I have two ideas. I'll be discussing as quick as I could. So the first startup I just got in my mind was actually why a rupee rate is falling down in the first place. I started thinking about it and I started a little bit research about it. The first thing I just got to know it in the year 1947, the $1 was equal to 1 rupee in the first place. So I was just shocked how the rupee rate increased drastically. So then I started researching about it. The main thing is export rate. The export rate really depends. And
there's a disturbance from your end, Abhi.
No, ma'am. There's no disturbance from my side.
I think it's better now. Go on.
Yeah, it really depends upon the export rate. So I have an idea, ma'am, but the problem with this is, the value proportions and target customers. If you have patriotism, then, you can do it. My idea is basically made in India products. There's no particular website where really, does or sell the products of the products made in India locally, supporting the local this thing, There are no people just like that. So if we start a website made in India, so where we can really only sell the products which are made in India in the first place. And, just like Amazon, we can just, I'm not saying we can do everything in the beginning itself. So we'll slowly start doing the stuff, even Amazon started with the books. So we'll start with something which is really, which we are really good at, or people really opt for. That's the thing I was been planning for. That's my first startup, ma'am. And here's a second startup. It's IT health hubs. We can see many canteens actually where people really, effort themselves to eat something. But the problem here is, many people really pay attention towards their own health in the IT apps. So why can't we really, open a health hub? Just an example, if I just go approach a small company and say this, and if they are okay with it, we'll be arranging everything and, finally setting up a health hub and explaining the people are users of, and many people really get in the wrong way. Actually, I myself am an athlete. So when I was in the beginning, I used to think, dieting is this and that and everything. But really, slowly, I started to get to know that, there are many other ways. So what I presently right now, my idea is to set up a health hub and, basically explain them this is how it is and this is how we need to stay healthy. And we'll be selling our products. Basically a canteen, something just like that. A health hub setting up in each and every corporate office, so they can really be healthy the people really like to be healthy, right? Nowadays, so they would be opting for it. I think the value proportion target, I did a SWOT analysis. I think no Indian startup really came forward to set up these things. I think there's online, but people don't really prefer. Just an example, if I go to office, I don't really want to Swiggy all the healthy restaurants or something like that. If it's in my hub, I'll just go for it. I'll just grab it. I'm just eating healthy. I'll be happy for it. I'll just say them how to eat it and basically explain all this stuff, how to diet and all do the things. So I'll just buy from me. I personally felt like if someone could sell me products at an affordable price, I'll just go for it because it's healthy and it's better. Yeah, and that's it. Have you got me?
Okay,
The
thank
way
you,
you're thinking
Abhi.
for the society is really commendable. I appreciate your thought process. Continue this. To address your first startup idea, see, when you think about the ideas, right, for everyone, this is understand what is the moat. Moat is something called fencing. Okay, fencing is how you can fence your product such that other big players won't replicate, or such other big players or some investor would attract. Fencing is one of the very integral aspects for someone to attract towards your startup. Now, how fencing can happen? Either through number of customers you have, either through number of market share you have, or either you IP a product, intellectual property of a product, right? That should be there in your fencing mechanism. Now, when I look at your first product, Amazon has a tab, in their product category session where they can buy from locals, right? That's one thing. And second, if I go search, there are a couple of websites called Great of India, then Seniority.in, stuff like that, which are already doing local products, Indian products ke liye India, buy local kind of stuff. That is there. But will that question, since that is there, we shouldn't try doing this? Not necessarily, right? They have a market share. Sorry?
Your voice is breaking. I can't hear you. Yeah, now it's okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's okay.
Abhi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So,
I can hear you.
as I said, we have a couple of websites all already doing the same, the first product, what you said. But not necessarily you have to, stop yourself from doing that idea. You can always start, you can always have your own market, right? But the question is, are you willing to do it?
Yeah.
Second.
I
Now,
think it's
coming
a
to
good
the
idea.
second.
No people really came forward. I mean, like I personally don't know that these people started this company,
Do some
but
research.
yes, I'll do it
Do some
definitely.
research. Maybe you will get more ideas from seeing the existing players, right? Maybe you'll see, okay, this is what these guys are doing who are in the market. Can I do something different too, right?
Yes.
And second is addressing your second startup idea, I think, which is really good. You can also start collaborating with other startups like Cult or Bowl, Fit Bowl and Urban Kisan, and be partnered with them for food related. Then you can partner with some startups for your nutrition related activities. Set up a mini office at a corporate and see how they're receiving it, right? I insist you to experiment and see if it is working. First, experiment with any of your friend circles, or just put a stall, or if it's working, then replicate the same.
Yes.
First and foremost, when it comes to ideas are many.
Yes.
What makes an idea to an entrepreneur is who executes it.
Yes.
Who executes it, right? 10, 15 years back, I'll sit in my pocket and I'll Swiggy come, they'll get done, they'll go IPO, done, and still my idea will be idea. You have to execute, experiment. Don't execute in a big way. Chota. Experiment with mini stuff and see if it is working, right? Such that you can save on your resources, time and energy. Cool? Thank you, Abhi. I think I'll take one last question of Krishna Prasad Nayak. Out of scalability and demand, which one is superior for a sustainable idea? Considering both are important. See, there is no such superior thing here, because both are, of course, considering important, but both are interdependent. When there's a demand, that's when you scale on the demand. Your operations in a way.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking. Aarti ma'am?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? I still have my video.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, is it clear, Ashwini ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. It is clear now.
Yeah, as I was telling, scalability and demand are both interconnected. There's no one such called superior among both of us because both are interconnected. When there's a demand, it's when we scale. When there's a scale, that implies there's a demand in the market. And any startup, scaling is nothing but how they can increase in the numbers of what they're currently having with the current resources or increase in the resources. Scalability happens at different stages at different phases. One of the very beautiful or very integral scaling aspect is something called blitz scaling. I insist you guys to check out what is blitz scaling. You will understand why Uber is Uber, why Airbnb is Airbnb.
Ma'am, your voice is again breaking. I'm sorry.
1 second, Ashwini ji, just give me 1 second. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you now.
Yeah, I was asked what is the best way to become a billionaire? Easy. Can someone type it out? I mean, obviously, legitimately, not through illegal way. any ideas or thoughts how you can become a billionaire? Okay, since the time is already getting up, I'll answer it for you, right? Just give me a moment. Yeah, can you hear me, guys? Ashwini ma'am, can you hear me?
Ma'am, we can hear you.
Yeah, there's a funny quote that says, yes, take a problem and solve it, provide value for people. It's nothing but take a problem or take a product and sell it for billion people for 1 rupee. That's when you become an easy. So that's what scalability is all about. The reason why unicorns are unicorns because they can sell their product to billion people, right? Yeah, with this, we come to an end of the session. If any doubts or any support you require, I'm always there. I hope this session was helpful. Wish we were talking in person. I'm more like a stage person rather than a webinar person. So yeah, thank you, Ashwini ma'am, Ashok ji, and entire this ED cell coordinating team for the invite and looking forward. All the best, guys.
Thank you so much, Aarti ma'am. It was really a very interactive session and you have provided very good insights on building up an idea canvas, like how do we actually identify a core problem or figuring out a solution or value proposition and understanding the competition and taking our target customers and at last, very importantly, building a revenue model. It was really insightful and helpful for our students, and students also have many, they also want to approach you in so that they can get to know how to go ahead and build it up. So we would like to have another session with you as well, ma'am. That would be if everything is fine, we would like to call you in person to the college so that we can have an offline session so that we can interact in person with the students.
Sure, absolutely, ma'am. Would love to. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you so much for your love. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, students. We have our next session speaker for today. Krupanand sir, you're right there.
Yeah,
Hello?
am I audible?
Yes. So we have our next speaker for this session. We welcome the next speaker for our session, Mr. Krupanand. He is the Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of Findor India Limited. Fintor is India's most preferred fintech company that takes care of all your financial and economic paperwork. The main objective of Fintor is to create a single roof for all financial and economic services. So you would own a friendly financial world where one can click and solve your hurdles. Bhamati Kripanand, co-founder and chief operating officer of Fintor India Limited, is also a CA finalist aspirant and an aspirant of CS and CMA as well. He has pursued articles in one of the most reputed CA firms in Hyderabad. He also has 3 years of prior experience and deep knowledge in legal registration, legal compliances for existing business and startups. He has 4 years of experience in tax compliances with the direct or indirect of an individual, business and startups, and also in financial aspects. We are very happy to have you here, Kripanand sir. You can go ahead and address our students. Thank you so much.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank you, ma'am, Ashwini ma'am, and also Ashok sir, and also all the participants who are present here. Without wasting any more time, I would like to directly jump into the topics which I like to present today. So just give me a second. I will be presenting you the same. Yeah. Is my screen visible, ma'am? Ashwini, ma'am?
Yes, the screen is visible.
Yeah, thank you. So as already Ashok sir has been mentioned, and also Aarti ma'am has been mentioned with reference to the startups. So as everyone might have knowledge about the same, that India is becoming one of the most unicorns in the world. At present, India is at third position with 28 unicorns. I repeat, with 28 unicorns. Those all unicorns are been recently in 8 months of this year, that is 2021. In this year only, there are around 28 unicorns has been created. Then everyone might have think, what is unicorn? What is the difference between the startup and the unicorn? As everyone might have knowledge that the unicorn is an startup, but the market capitalization, that the market amount which that unicorn having is $1 million. I mean $1 billion, the market capitalization. Such entities will be considered as unicorns. And I would like to ask everyone, why organization need to be registered? In simple manner, I am asking why every company need to be registered as a company or else as an LLP. Is there any particular reason, or is that the mandatory for us to get registration? Can anyone let me know why it is mandatory, or else is that really matters to get registered? So as Aarti ma'am mentioned that the startups is an idea. After that idea, we need to put that into an existence. In order to put that particular idea into existence, we need to make that particular idea as viable, along with registering the same idea with the MCA and also our company registering. So is there any other things which the registration is compulsory, or else is there any particular thing? You can even choose the options which our team has been given you. Is it mandatory, or else is it optional? Is it become mandatory after crossing limits? So it's not, actually speaking, the organizations is of, there are around not 7 or 8 types which you are able to see on the screen. Has already mentioned there are 1% company, there are limited liability company, there is an private limited company, there is partnership, there is sole proprietorship. For sole proprietorship and partnership, it is not mandatory to get registration, and it is not mandatory from the government to get that idea or else get the startup to get registered. But has a private limited company, has an LLP, has a public limited company, everyone need to be get registered. So is some of you have might have idea. Has if I am not wrong, Abhiram has been mentioned his idea about one is Health Hub. So if we want to grow further, if we want to grow that practically further, then how we can proceed? Then Abhiram need to get that idea to be registered, get that business to be started by incorporating a business, by incorporating a private limited company, by incorporating that has limited liability partnership, by incorporating that any one of type of organization, he need to incorporate that idea. After incorporation, he can make that product or else make that service available to the public. So this is the quick recap. What is private limited company? What is LLP? What is Section 8 company? What is OPC? I'll tell you the glimpse of the same without making this session boring. I would like to tell you everyone, if you people having any, okay, I got Bhuvaneshwari to maybe to get recognized as startup. One of my question was, is that compulsory to get registration? So as she mentioned that maybe recognized as startup, we need to get registration as LLP. Yeah, it is one of the point to be registered as startup. We need to get private limited or LLP registration. Without that, we cannot be recognized as a startup by DPIIT. So, and there are so many other reasons. I would like to explain you one other reason also. As you people might have aware, previously, even the Kirana shop, even that is also considered as a business, that is considered as sole proprietorship. What is the difference between the company and the sole proprietorship? In the company, if you take any particular company, for example, Reliance has having an 100, for example, having 100 crores of assets. But due to some issue, due to some legal issue, Reliance got an liability, say, for example, Reliance has an 200 CR of liability, but the assets of Reliance is 100 CR. Then is it possible to Reliance to pay whole 200 CR? No. Then is it that Mukesh Ambani need to pay that remaining 100 CR in the case of company? In the case of sole proprietorship, if the liability is more than that, for example, if here in this case the liability is 200 CR, but the assets which that entity having is 100 CR, the remaining 100 CR need to be paid in the case of sole proprietor. The particular person, the personal assets of that particular person need to be paid. I want to make this little more interactive. For example, take Abhiram. He want to start a startup saying that Health Hub. So if we invest in Health Hub, he having an assets in the name of Health Hub for say 10 rupees, but his liability got has 20 rupees because of a certain case, because of certain investment, because of certain capital. His liability become 20 rupees. What he will do with that 10 rupees? Do we need to put the 10 rupees from his pocket? Yes, in the case of sole proprietorship and in the case of partnership, as those are called as limited, not unlimited liabilities entities. For example, in the case of sole proprietorship and in the case of partnership, the liability that the entities will have is unlimited. The owners who owns the entity need to be paid on their own. For example, in the case of private limited company, if Abhiram incorporated a private limited company and that private limited company having a liability of say 20 rupees, has previously example 20 rupees, and his assets is 10 rupees. The remaining 10 rupees need not to be paid by Abhiram here, because the entity is different from that of Abhiram, because the entity is already get registered. So Abhiram is totally different from the entity which he would like to start, per se Health Hub. Health Hub is different from Abhiram. So whatever the liability which Health Hub have, the Health Hub need to be paid. For example, it paid 10, then remaining 10 need not to be paid by Abhiram, and remaining 10 will become closed by the Health Hub only, not by Abhiram. So this is the one of the major thing will get a advantage to be registered as an limited liability partnership or else an private limited company. And one more thing, if you people having any queries in between, please make sure you stop me in between and ask your queries as and when. Yeah, I would like to tell you brief about private limited companies and partnership and one-person companies. What is private limited company? Private limited company is a company wherein the people will be of will come there and they will start an idea. After they starting an idea, for example, say Zomato started an idea with two or more people. After that idea, they want to increase their capital. They want to increase their product in the market. How can they do that? By getting the venture capitalist, by getting the investments from outside public. That is, for example, in the case of private limited company, you can take investment from any other companies also, any other venture capitalist also. It is easy to get investment. It is easy. For example, say I have incorporated an LLP. In the case of LLP, if you need to invest any other person to invest in LLP, then you need to consider that particular person has partner, and you need to change that has partnership deed also you need to change. Am I going off track? If you people think am I going too much into deep of the knowledge, please make sure telling me and stopping me where you are not able to understand. Then I will be able to help you out in your particular manner. And so coming to the point, for example, is one person company. For example, one person company is where it is also having limited liability and it is having the feature of limited liability. But as we speak, one person company, the single person will run all the show. Here, the single person, for sake, Abhiram want to start the business. Then Abhiram himself only the owner, and Abhiram only want to run the business. He don't want to get his share diluted by any other person. Then it will be suitable for Abhiram to go with one person company. But what is the disadvantage if you go for one person company? If you want any investment from outside any venture capitalist or angel brokers or any seed funding you want, then it is not possible to you to get funding in the case of one person company, because it's being a one person company, you cannot take investment from any other persons as an partners or else as an members. So if you want to get investment, if you want your startup to get investment, it is much more preferable to start or else incorporate your idea as private limited company. Okay, our team made this presentation little more interactive. So I would like to ask one question. The Rock and Dwayne Johnson together decided to raise their fund through investment, but their firm is LLP. Is it possible for them to raise funds? Please make this session little more interactive by answering. We have given you two options. Please make sure you click one of them. I repeat the question. The Rock and Dwayne Johnson together decided to raise their funds through investor, but their firm is LLP. Is it possible for them to raise fund? Anyone, please, let's make this little more interactive. Okay, Krishna Prasad says it has yes. Even LLP can also raise funds. Okay, any other views? Okay, let me continue. Has Rock and Dwayne Johnson together incorporated an LLP? As everyone might have knowledge, in the case of LLP, limited liability partnership, if you introduce any one other partner, you need to change all the process of LLP deed and start from the scratch. You need to change each and every process of the LLP. In the case of LLP, you need to sign a deed saying LLP partnership deed. In the deed, you need to mention the partner's details and also everything. Okay. So as it mentioned, LLP can also take funds, but it will restrict the LLP to take much more from the investor. For example, if I take from A, for example, 100 rupees, I need to change my partnership deed saying that I have taken this particular person and make that particular person as partner. And if I take from B, I need to make again change in the partnership deed that I have taken then from particular person. But wherein if you go with the private limited company, then you will have option to add and shareholders together. If you add one shareholder, you need not to make changes making MOA or AOA. It need not to be done. You can directly change by way of filing an application to Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So this is what, so you can invest in LLP through investors you can raise, but it is much more preferable in the case of private limited company, because the compliance which it have is comparatively less than that of the LLP. So coming to the point, can anyone name me the, yes, yes, Kavita, the private limited is better. Can anyone tell me which is the costliest car in the world? Can anyone? I repeat my question. Which is the costliest car in the world? Okay, Rolls-Royce or Bugatti. Okay, yeah. You may even Google that also. That is Lamborghini Veneno, I guess. Okay. So, for example, if you purchase Lamborghini company, say, treat that car as your startup idea. For example, you having that car as your startup idea. If you purchase that car, after purchasing that car, will you not get registered on under your name? What is the use getting registered under your name? Can anyone tell, after purchasing Lamborghini, what is the use getting that registered under your name? For example, say Sanju has been purchased Lamborghini car. After that, he registered as the car is the owner of the car is okay, Sanju. The answers are coming. That one is ownership. It represent it is ours. Okay, ownership. Has Ashwini mentioned, and one more represent that it is ours. Okay, it's also called ownership. So yeah, your point is right. That is, for example, if other car belongs to you, how will you get to know if that car is registered? Similar manner, if you are startup, you having an idea, how will everyone get to know that the particular idea is yours? It is not taken by any others, or else it is not taken from any other's idea. You need to get that as incorporated, and you need to get that registered with your name. So similar way, how we are registered this with the road department, similar way we need to register our ideas with that MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Okay. So after purchasing that Lamborghini car, for say if you started running the car, for example, 1 year, 2 years, and what happens? What precautions you need to take? Okay, copyright Rajesh. Okay, we'll come to that point later on. What you people think after purchasing that Lamborghini car? What should I do to make that successful, or else to make that run properly throughout the lifetime of that Lamborghini? Servicing, insurance. Okay. Any more? Any more? Maintenance. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Has our friends mentioning here that servicing and maintenance is one of the key factors. I repeat, servicing and maintenance is one of the key factors to maintain that car throughout that lifespan of that car. To run that car also, we need timely maintenance. In similar way, in the case of company or in the case of LLP, compliance is nothing but maintenance. Compliance is nothing but servicing, taking care of the car. Similar way, we need to taking care of the firm. We need to taking care of that particular startup. We need to file certain compliances with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Sorry. As I earlier mentioned, what is the private limited company, what is LLP, and what is one-person company? This is the compliances. For example, if I incorporated my startup has a private limited company, I need to follow each and every year. I need to file these many compliances, these many forms I need to file with a Ministry of Corporate Affairs. If I registered as an LLP, I need to file only 3 forms, that is Form 11 and Form 8 and Form DRC3 KYC. And if I incorporated as 1% company, I need to file these many compliances. As you might have compared on the table itself, that limited liability partnership having very less compliances as compared to that of private limited company and 1% company. So what you got from this? If you want to incorporate your startup idea has an company or else LLP, it need to be decided on 2 factors. One is, do you want your investment from any other companies or else any other people, investors, or else you don't want from many people, you just want 1 or 2 people. That's all. You don't want it to make you don't want to dilute your ownership. If you don't want to dilute your ownership, it will be much more preferable to opt for LLP. I repeat, if you don't want to dilute your ownership, or else if you don't want any investors, or if you don't want raise any funds, it is preferable to go with LLP, because in LLP the compliances are comparatively less. So with minimal cost, we can close the annual compliances. Wherein in the private limited company, the compliances are very much comparative to that of 1% company and also LLP. But in the private limited company, if you want investors, it is possible to raise funds from time to time. So you need to decide whether your startup, whether your idea need any investment, or whether your idea need not to be. For example, per se, I'm having a family business, I'm having a stationery, I'm having a supermarket, I don't want any investments further, then I can incorporate that as LLP. With that, I'll be able to do less compliances. I'll be having less compliances than that of private limited companies. Yeah. Do you people understand till now? If you understand, please let me know in the comment section. Or else if you have any doubts, please let me know in the... Yes, Abhinav, do you have any questions? Okay, by saying yes, can I take that as you got an idea saying that that particular startup need to be registered as LLP or else private limited company, right? Okay, I am seeing the same names repeatedly. Is everyone with me? Yeah, okay. So let me make this quick recap of the same. That is nothing but if you are startup, you want to investments from any other companies, it is preferable to go with private limited company. If you don't want investments from any other company, it is preferable to register yourself as LLP. Okay. Let me go into little bit much more interesting topic. As some of you might have already talked about copyright or else trademark. Yeah. Similar to that, intellectual property. What is meant by intellectual property? So intellectual property in intellectual property also there are so many other subheadings like trademark, like copyright, patents, and there are so many other. But these 3 are major in the market. So what you people think the trademark do? The trademark is nothing but, for example, say Reliance is a name, Reliance is a brand. So the name itself is a brand, wherein if you want your name to be recognized as a brand, if you want to your name to be have much more craze in the market, much more knowledge about your name in the market, that if you get that trademark, no other person can use your name. For example, if Reliance is, I got registered Reliance has my trademark. After I am using that name, no other person can use that name. If any other person using the same name, then I am having the legal right that I can sue on that particular person that I have already right on that Reliance. So no other person can use the same. So in the similar way, trademark is a brand, trademark is a name. And in the case of copyright, it is like, for example, I have created an content with reference to LLP. I have created art. I have created, I mean, I have captured certain photography. I have created music. How I can preserve this as my thing? How I can preserve from other people's to not copy this? The simple thing is I get has copyright. If I get a copyright on that particular name, then I'll be able to control my whatever the product, whatever the content, I can control. No other person can use my. For example, say I will explain patent. I'll ask 3 more questions that you will get a little more knowledge about the same. So, for example, patent. As everyone might have know, the India-made vaccine, that is Covaxin, has been invented by Bharat Biotech, which is known as BBIL. So Bharat Biotech has been invented that Covaxin medicine. So it is an invention. For example, say they created an formula. They created an with their efforts, with their scientists, they created an formula. After creating, they will get themselves registered as patent. So after getting patent registration, if any other person want to use the same formula, that in order to use Covaxin, that other participants need to come to the BBIL and pay certain royalty. After paying royalty, they can use that Covaxin formula. Till then, no one can use that formula, or else no one use that particular thing. For example, I have manufactured, say, iPhone has been manufactured by Apple company. In the configurations also, iPhone getting the patent for their configuration, their features. If any person copying that features, they'll be legally liable to iPhone to pay the royalty or to pay the penalty charges. This is a quick recap about the intellectual properties. Now I'll be asking a little certain questions with reference to the same. So, say Batman met Iron Man in multiverse, and Batman loved the Iron Man suit. So he decided to make his own, but he can't. Why? I repeat, Batman met an Iron Man in multiverse, and Batman loved the Iron Man suit. So he decided to make his own, but why he can't? Yeah, please answer on the chat box. Whatever the answer may be, I'll be. Okay, Krishna Prasad says his has trademark. Any other? Abhiram says has patent. Okay. Kavita says both. Okay. Satvika says patent. Okay. Some other rule number, copyrights. He says copyright. Okay. Any other? Both, it seems. Okay. Let me make this little more simple for you. For example, just compare this with example as I earlier discussed. For example, Covaxin is been invented by BBIL. Here the Iron Man suit has been invented by Iron Man. So it is like invention. If anything creates like invention, it will be categorized under patent. So whoever mentioned the patent, that is the right answer. It is not copyright, or else it is not trademark. The patent is the right answer because it is an invention. Every invention, it will be categorized as patent, not as trademark, or else not as copyright. Okay, let's quickly ask another more next question. For the revenge, Batman decided to make his own Avenger team, but he again fails. Why? So in continuation to the question, for revenge, Batman decided to make his own Avenger team, but again he failed. Why? Is that because of patent? Is that because of trademark? Is that because of copyright? You can put your answers in the chat box. Sakshi says is that copyright. Okay. Krishna Prasad says has trademark. Okay. Abhiram says has copyright. Bhuvaneshwari says has trademark. Okay. Satvika says has trademark. Okay. Okay. Okay, quite many of you are right. It is trademark because trademark is a name. Avenger is a name. Avenger is a brand. Being a brand, that is categorized as trademark. Okay, let's not waste much time here. Let's get one more question. With huge depression, Batman decided to write his own song to get over, but the song got flagged. Why? As everyone might have you seen in the YouTube and everywhere, that the particular thing has been flagged, that the particular content has been flagged. Because of what? Because of copyright, because of trademark, because of patent. Okay, now everyone giving the same answers: copyright, 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 copyright. Yeah, everyone is right. So here, because this is an content which has been created, this is an art which has been created. This is here he created an song. This is content. So in order to create an content, it need to be registered as copyright. I repeat, this all has in a single glimpse. In order, if you want any brand to be recognized, you need to make that as trademark. If you want any invention to be your own name, you want to make that as patent. If you having any own content, you need to make that as copyright. Are you people okay with this? Okay, I got one answer saying patent. Are you agreeing with me? Are you people having any doubts? You can raise me here. If you are okay with, please say yes. I'll be discussing with you some more terminology with reference to the startups. Then we can go for the question and answer sessions without any waste of time. Okay, can I go ahead? I get only Satvika's yes. Okay. You are understanding, right, what I am saying, that copyright, patent, trademark, why? Yes. Okay. 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 We are going to see certain terminologies which will be using much more in the case of startups. One is MSME registrations. As many of you might have heard in the recent times that Nirmala Sitharaman has been introduced in the budget saying MSME package. She has been introduced an MSME package wherein MSMEs can get loans at minimal interest rate. So what is MSME registration? Similar way, MSME registration is nothing but recognition. Has MSME means medium, small, micro enterprises. MSME means, I repeat, medium, small, micro enterprises. Wherever the startup turnover is less than 100 CR or else 25 CR, respectively, they will be categorized as medium, small, and small enterprises. So if you are registered as MSME, then you will be get benefits from government, saying, as I already mentioned, one of the benefit, that is you will be get loans at lower rate. For example, if you have created a startup and you yourself registered as MSME, then you will be get benefit of this thing. Let's go to other point, that is FSSAI registration. This is nothing but food registration. In our country, health department will be organizing this FSSAI. So FSSAI registration will help you to get recognition overall in the food industry. For example, if you are running any food related products, or if you are, as Abhiram has been mentioned, he want to run health related, wherein he may use certain food related, certain formulas, he may use certain products, then he need to be get registered as FSSAI. Most people might have not have knowledge with reference to the same. If we get FSSAI registration, then that particular thing will help him get recognition, and it is also mandatory from health department to get recognition. Wherein in FSSAI registration, it simply says that this has been qualified by our limits, by our standards. That is what FSSAI registration. And ISO registration, it is similar to that of FSSAI registration. That is, in FSSAI registration, it is a national level and it is a state level thing. But wherein ISO registration is international thing, if it will give you a brand, or else it will give you a product and recognition saying that this particular company, particular product is meeting some limits. It has been met some limits. It has been met some standards. Then you will be getting that ISO registrations. As everyone might have knowledge with reference to the GST, that is goods and service tax. As this has been created so much idea nowadays. GST is nothing but previously we used to charge on each and every product, that service tax and also VAT, all other things. But nowadays, in order to every product, in order to every services, we need to pay government GST. That is called goods and service tax. If you cross certain limits like 20 lakhs and 40 lakhs, it is necessary you to get registered under GST. So until unless if you are crossing the limits like 40 lakhs and 20 lakhs, it is not necessarily you to get GST registration. But yes, it will be useful to get registration. Because for example, if you go in public, same my product is this, they'll be asking whether you will be our GST registered, whether you giving us the input, then at that time it will be useful. So whatever, normally the mandatory is 40 lakhs and 20 lakh limit, but if you want, you can voluntarily also get registered as GST. And everyone might have saying that Startup India registration, startup. Has everyone saying that startup? Do you people really think that Startup India registration is necessary? How many of you are known that the Startup India registration is necessary to be called as startup? Has already Abhiram has been mentioning that he having a startup idea. Idea is different from that of recognition of startup. So idea and startup is totally different. For example, if I am having a product per se, I have created one cream, lotion or something. I have created a company with reference to the same, but I am not get registered by DPIIT. I won't be called as startup. What is the benefit if you get as recognized as startup? Can anyone say? Please comment on the comment section. What is the use to get registration as Startup India? Can anyone? Okay, less taxes. Okay, tax benefit. Okay. Can any other members? Can you please easy registration? Yes. Funding from government. Okay. Yeah. Recognition. Yeah. Loans. Yes. Funding. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you further. Okay. As you already are correct, that is, if you registered as startup, you will be getting much more help from the government. For example, if you registered as startup, the government given hand facility saying 3 years you need not to pay a single rupee as tax. For example, you have earned an income of 1 CR. Although you earned 1 CR of income, as per Income Tax Act, you need to pay on that income taxes. But as per as you get startup recognition, it will be no tax for you for a period of 3 years. For that, you need to apply to the income tax also. That is other point. But because of getting registered as startup, you will be getting this privilege as tax eligibility. You will be get tax exemption, and also has many mentioning loans at minimal cost. You will be get loans at minimal cost, and also you will get recognition over the period. So these all the things, as many of you are aware that nowadays the trend has been going from the checking the profits to else ideas. Most of you have idea about Zomato, right? Zomato, wherein it has been recently introduced its IPO, that is initial public offer, wherein it raised the funds and it considered itself as unicorn. Although Zomato is not having profits, but the idea which that having made that people to invest in that particular company, because Zomato is now interested in using some drive-ins, and so many other ideas has been in with Zomato. Although Zomato is not gaining the profits, but people are interested in Zomato. This is how our thinking has been changing nowadays. So everyone want to invest in your company if your particular company is having good idea, good recognition. So many will invest in your company. Let me discuss one last point, and then we'll be closing the session here. So that is import and export code. This is also one type of certification which is required. As Abhiram saying, in order to make dollar and rupee equal, we need to increase our exports and we need to increase our foreign reserves as much as possible. So in order to make that, we need to make exports. So if any person want to make any exports, if any person want to make any imports, it is mandatory to get registered under IEC code, that is import export code. Yeah, till now, anyone having any questions? Okay, I got Krishna Prasad saying trademark may be not sure. About what, Krishna Prasad? Okay, anyone having any doubts till now? Are you okay with what I mentioned with reference to trademark, patent and copyright, and also private limited company and LLP? And also, are you okay with what I mentioned, certain terminologies? Are you having any other doubts with reference to taxation, or else with reference to how you need to go into market? You can ask here. What is IPO? Okay. IPO is nothing but initial public offer. For example, say I have incorporated my idea as private limited company. After incorporating private limited company, I have taken amount from various capitalists. It is not from every public. I am taking from only private persons. Per se, certain Junjunwala, I am taking investment from Junjunwala. I am taking investment from Dhoni. I am taking investment from particular persons. It is not from all public. Wherein in the case of IPO, it will be available to all public. Then it is nothing but anyone from the public can invest in your firm. Anyone can invest in your IPO thing, in your product. So in the case of normal seed funding, in the case of rising investors, it is not IPO. It is first, it comes as venture capitalist and seed funding. After, if you want, if you think that public will subscribe to you, public will invest in your product, if you got that much of confidence, then you can list your product into the public as an IPO. Then the public having the option to directly invest in your company. Recently, we can see so many IPOs has been listed. It is crossing so many billions of turnover. So previously, there used to be no IPOs has been, I mean, very low or else very less number of IPOs used to be there. Nowadays, each and every company is enthusiastic to make their IPOs. It is an option to public to subscribe there, invest in the shares of that company. IPO is nothing but invest in the shares of company. The public will have the options. They can invest in that particular share. Wherein if you are not going to IPO, there is an called private placements, which we usually see. We'll be hearing there and there, saying that this particular startup has been raised from seed funding, this particular firm has been raised from capitalist, this particular firm has raised from group 3, group 4. So these are called private placements, and IPO is like we are raising investments from public. Yeah, okay. I'm getting quite a questions. I missed that. Okay, raising capital from. Okay, yes, Kavita, you are right. How much time generally would it take to recognized and certified? No, Abhiram, it is. If you registered as startup, it doesn't. After incorporating, normally incorporation takes up to a period of 15 to 20 days to get registered. After that, you can apply for startup, because in order to apply startup recognition, you compulsory you need to has LLP or else private limited company. Not if you are sole proprietor or else if you are normal partnership, you cannot apply for a startup company. So startup company registration. So if you want startup company registration, you need to incorporate yourself as LLP or else private limited company. In order to make yourself as registered as private limited company or LLP, it takes around 15 to 20 days. After that, in order to get certificate of startup recognition, it will take around first say it will come in 1 week in certain cases, and it may take more than 1 month also in certain cases. It depends on case to case, but yeah, major is, but within 1 month we will be able to get that startup certification. Yeah. And one more point, a question I got here is, can LLP take funds from venture capital? Yes. As I earlier mentioned, LLP can also take funds from venture capitalists, but if for say I am taking from A and B, for example, say I am taking from Bhuvaneshwari, after I am taking from Rakesh, I am taking from Abhinav. For example, in case of LLP, if you take from single person, you need to change your deed, which is the Bible for an LLP. In similar way, in companies, you will be having MOA and AOA. In LLP, you will be having an agreement saying as LLP deed. In deed, you need to mention that Bhuvaneshwari has been invested in our LLP and Rakesh has been invested in my LLP. So every time, each and every time one person invests in you, you need to change that LLP deed. And after changing that LLP, you need to file that to MCA. That's make little more difficulty, little more complex to invest in LLP. But yes, you can invest if you having one or two only closed members of venture capitalist. Yes, you can raise funds from LLP. If dollar and rupee becomes equal, how India will get affected? No, to listen or to say this is easier things, or else this is the dollar and rupee making equal is as you people have thinking this is a simple thing, but this is one of my dream, longest dream of mine also, that is to make dollar and rupee equal. How India will get affected? If you, in order to make rupee as equivalent to dollar, you need to increase your foreign reserves. Per se, if I export to USA, I'll be getting dollars. I'll be reserving dollars, and I'll be reserving as much as I'll reserve the dollars, I'll be having much more power of dollar. For example, say I'm having 10 rupees with me, and USA having my 10 rupees. After that, USA purchased from India, say using $1. I'm getting $1, USA having $9 with them. And I'm having 10 rupees with me and $1. After, because of this, I'm having $1. That with $1, I can influence USA, saying I can sell your dollar in market, I can crash your thing. So due to that demand and supply thing, you can raise a rupee and dollar to an extent to equivalent, but it is much more great point to be taken care. It is much more deep. If you want me to tell, it is much more points you need to be taken care in between. You need to increase reserves in you need to increase foreign reserves with you. You need to increase exports. You need to restrict the imports. These all things will be taken care. Any other doubts? I mean, Abhiram, Kavita, Bhuvaneshwari, Rakesh, are you people satisfied with what I have mentioned? And apart from this, not only with reference to the topics which I discussed, if you're having anything with reference to startup related, you can ask me here. By taking that questions, we can close the session also. Anyone having any other questions can ask me here.
Students, if you like to ask the questions in person, you can raise your hand. I'll unmute you so that you can go ahead and ask the question.
Okay, so Kavita, you are okay with the answer which I given to you, right? Bhuvaneshwari, okay. If anyone want to ask any other questions, I'm free to share that right now, or else you may even get in touch with us. This is our Fintour, and we are registered in October 2020. So we can you people can contact us anytime. You can note our numbers there, so you can personally contact us. If you have any topic that I need to discuss right now, can ask me now itself. I'll be able to speak, or else we can close the session.
Pranav, you would like to ask a question? I see your hand raised. Pranav, you can enable your mic if you have a question. You can unmute yourself. Okay, Abhiram has a question. Okay, Abhiram, your mic is on. You can unmute yourself, Abhiram.
Yeah, hello, sir. It's really great to meet you. One last question, actually. So, what was the hardest part for you to start up a start? like to start a startup in the first place? Was it funding or was it this or that?
For being, I'm having a knowledge with reference to the same which we have incorporated. That is, in Fintur, we help the startups to get these compliances, which I already told you the part of incorporating registration. These in these fields, I'm already having the knowledge of 3-4 years, so it is not difficult for me. But the difficult part here is to increase the customers. So
Okay,
that
that's
is
right.
the only point which I felt has difficult. Rather than that, nothing is difficult. If you do market research and everything, it is easier to you.
Actually, I had a thought to start. Even I have many other startup ideas, and this was one of it. Actually, it was business consulting service. Actually, so I thought even about it, but these two were been like best startups where it's really realistic for me, and I think I could really apply the second one, I guess, and I'll be working on it, sir. Thank you, thanks for
Oh,
everything, thanks for being
yeah,
here, sir.
yeah. Thank you so much, Abhiram. I'll be stop sharing my screen. If any other persons having any doubts, can directly ping to the ma'am also, Ashwini ma'am. She'll be much more happy to help you. Thank you, ma'am, Ashwini ma'am. And also, I would like to thank each and every participant who stayed till now, because staying 2.5 hours is much more for everyone. Thank you, everyone, to be participating here. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ashwini ma'am.
thank you, Mr. Krupanand. You have provided very good insights about different types of companies, and you throwed light on IPR rights as well, and with very interesting examples, I would like to say. And the business registration process under MSME, FSSI, GST, Startup India certificate, and import export code. So as as all our students are pretty enthusiastic to know about how to start up a business, we would be surely in future collaborating with you all as well, so that you can provide us some kind of help to make our students understand more about what are the legal compliances which are need to be done whenever they want to set up a business. Thank you so much, Mr. Krupanand, we are very happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So now, students, we have 1 second, guys. Yeah, we have with us today Dr. Kavita Lal. She is the coordinator of IPR Cell IIC, and she would be proposing a vote of thanks. So, Kavita ma'am, I kindly request you to go ahead and propose the vote of thanks, ma'am.
Thank you, Ashwini ma'am. Thank you for that sweet introduction as well. Very good afternoon. Very good afternoon to Principal Professor Y. Ashok, Bhavans Vivekananda College, Mrs. B. Nerilmati, Vice Principal and President IIC, Dr. N.S. Chakrabarti, Vice President IIC, members of IIC, heads of the department, faculty members, and students. Indeed, it's a great honor to propose vote of thanks for the event Impact Lecture Session 1 on Entrepreneurship, organized by Bhavans Institution Innovation Council. I, Dr. Kavita Lal, Coordinator, IPR, IIC, feel privileged to propose a vote of thanks. I sincerely express my gratitude to our beloved Principal, Professor Y. Ashok, for his presence and constant motivation for conducting this event. I would like to express my profound gratitude to Mrs. B. Nerilmati, Vice Principal and President IIC, Dr. N.S. Chakrabarti, Vice President IIC, for their moral support as well as guidance. I take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to Mrs. Aarti, Senior Executive Startup Programs T-Hub, for motivating us and explaining about taking advantage of opportunities available at the right time, and also to explain about Business Idea Canvas. I would like to thank Krupanand, co-founder and Chief Operating Officer of Fintur India Private Limited, for giving explanation about importance of legal registration, forms of companies, intellectual property rights, about clarifying doubts of our participants. Last but not least, I thank each and every participant for their presence. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Kavita ma'am. Students, the feedback link has been posted in the chat window. So everyone, please click on the feedback link and give your feedback on the sessions. And you would be getting your e-certificate based on the feedback link only. So it is compulsory for everyone to go ahead and do it. So please provide your valuable feedback on the sessions. I hope everyone you're able to access the feedback link. If there is any problem, please raise your hand so that I will be able to go ahead and address it. It is compulsory for you all to go ahead and give your feedback.